Hey friends, I'm Jessica. I'm a frugal, homeschooling, homesteading foster mama, and I'm doing my best to raise good humans and live simply on purpose for the Lord. Here I share real-life motherhood, money-saving tips, our homestead journey, and what it's really like to have a dog, what it's really like to do foster care and homeschool under one very imperfect roof. If you're craving grace over perfection and purpose over pressure, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. So today we are in the kitchen and we are making butter. Now, I used to be so intimidated by the thought of making butter, and I put off learning to do it. I mean, for a long time. I don't know why I thought it was scary. It's totally not scary. And I want to encourage you today to go ahead and give it a try if that's something that interests you. So we do have dairy cows, so we have access to a ton of fresh milk and cream, which is the reason why I need to make butter. So what I do is I scrape off the cream off the top of our milk. If you don't know, when you have fresh milk, the cream rises to the top. And the longer the milk sits in the fridge, the thicker the cream gets. So sometimes I will let the milk sit in the fridge till like day 5 or so. And then I scrape off the cream and it is so thick and it just makes the easiest butter. Excuse me. So that's what we are doing today. I've scraped all the cream off my milk and I've put it in a quart jar. And then once I have a quart jar full of cream, I make butter. So today, come along with me as we take our quart of cream and turn it into some delicious butter. Feel free to ask me any questions if there's anything that's not clear, but otherwise, let's get into it. All right, thanks guys. Good morning. So today we have a ton of older milk that we need to do something with. So I'm going to scrape the cream off the top and we're going to make butter. I've already started scraping the cream. So here I have a whole jar of really thick cream. See how it's not even budging? So we are going to make the butter in our KitchenAid mixer. It's super easy. And let me get this dumped out because it's way too thick for me to do it one-handed. And then I will show you guys what I do. And then later today, we have to process some artichokes for dinner. The neighbor grows artichokes and brings some down to share with us. So we're gonna have those for dinner. All right, hold on, let me get this cream out of the jar. Okay, so here we have our cream poured in. We are just going to close that. We're gonna lock it in place. And I'm not going to turn it on yet because it'll get really loud, but I'm going to turn it on high. And I have this really big kitchen towel that I'm just going to cover my whole KitchenAid with because otherwise it will splash everywhere. So if you cover it like this, it's just going to get the rim here wet. So we're going to turn it on high. It's going to take about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, and then we will come back and I'll show you guys how it looks before we have to rinse all the way off. All right. Not quite. Well, look at that butter. So the fresh. Okay, so here we can see the butter, and all of that is the buttermilk. I think earlier I said strain the whey off, but I meant the buttermilk. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this over to our sink and we are going to grab out a handful of the butter and we're just going to manipulate it. I'm going to turn the sink on. So we're going to manipulate it under the cold water, and the goal is to get all of that buttermilk out of the butter because we don't want that. The buttermilk will make the butter spoil quicker in the fridge or the freezer. So we're gonna rinse it in cold water until all the buttermilk comes out, and then we will salt it and put it in our butter molds. So I'll check back with you guys in a little bit. Okay, so here we have the butter we made, and we are almost done with it, but it looks pretty good. And so we're just going to add some salt. I have maybe half a teaspoon of salt here. You don't want to overdo it because you can always add salt when you're cooking, but you can't take it out once you put it in the butter. And then I have, these are molds from Super Cubes, and these are half cup molds. So I'm going to mix in the salt to my butter, and then I'm going to press them into these half cup molds. That way when I'm cooking, I can just take one of these out, and it's the equivalent of a stick from the store. So oh, and then here we have our buttermilk, and I'm just going to put this in a mason jar for the fridge for baking later. So let me do that, and then I will show you what we have. Okay, so that 1 quart of cream turned into 2 half cup bars and almost a half cup bar. So this one we will use for cooking or for like spreading on bread, and then I'll save these guys for baking. So yeah, so I put them in the Super Cube silicone molds, and then it has a lid, so I'll put that on, and I just stick these straight into the freezer. And then when we get low on butter in the fridge, I'll pop 1 or 2 of these out and put it in the fridge to be not frozen. And then here we have almost a pint of buttermilk. So I'm going to put that, a lid on that, and put that in the fridge as well to use for later. So that was pretty easy. I think it took us, well, with filming it took a little longer, but you could make butter from start to finish in about 15-20 minutes. Yeah, you could also do this with store-bought cream if you don't have access to a cow like we do. So really anybody could do this. I'm not sure financially it's worth it to buy cream at the store and make butter, but you could do it if you wanted to. So thanks for coming along with us as we made butter today. All right, have a great day. Bye.